Halloween, gone. Thanksgiving, might as well be gone. Next, we've got Christmas. And if you want to be ahead of the game, then you definitely want to stick around. Hello everyone and welcome to Amparo Wonderland. Today we are creating this cute flower bouquet in a flower pot, but guess what? It's not just that. If you pull them out and stretch them out, they actually become little flower coasters. And this is the cutest thing that I have ever seen, and I'm so in love with it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get yarning. Alright, so here we've got our materials. What we need are a pair of scissors. Make sure they are nice and sharp. If you have dull ones, you'll have a hard time and you will not have much fun. We need our handy dandy best friends here, our stitch markers. We need a darning needle, we need our crochet hook, and as for the colors of our coaster, what I will be using for this video, we are using a off-white color, we have green and red. Now, again, you can use whatever colors you want for your coasters. As you can see, I did use multiple colors. I used pink, orange, and yellow. And for our flower pot, I used the same color that I used for the base of our coasters. So let's go ahead and move our stuff out of the way. Make sure you grab your free pattern, which you can find the link in the description box down below. But do be advised that this pattern will not be free forever. So go ahead and grab your free pattern now before you miss out. So let's go ahead and clear this up. To begin, we have our base color for the coaster, and to start off we need to have our round counter. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my round counter up here for you. Now for round one, we are going to start off by creating our magic ring. So to make a magic ring, if you are a beginner, please follow along. We have our short end here and the end that is connected to your ball of yarn. Now go ahead and grab the side that is closer to your ball of yarn, and you're going to wrap it around your two fingers here. Make sure that you have a long enough end though, the shorter side, so that way you can weave that in at the end. It is very important because you will see why. So go ahead and wrap this around your middle and index finger, and you're going to wrap around twice. The first time it goes like that, and then the second time you're going to wrap it around across to make an X. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our crochet hook, go into the front of the X here, the front leg over here. You're going to go underneath it, and you're going to grab the leg right behind it and pull it in, and you're going to do a little twist like that. Okay? And then you're going to grab that back leg there again. You're gonna pull that right into that loop that's on your hook, and you created a magic ring. Okay, so now that we've got our magic ring, we're gonna go ahead and work into the magic ring. And to work into the magic ring, we are going to create 12 double crochet. Now, don't you worry, this is a basic stitch, so please follow along if for any reason you don't know how to make one. To make a double crochet, we are going to yarn over first, okay? So, to yarn over, let's say you have your crochet hook like this and your yarn like this. You're going to bring your hook over like this because you're yarning over the hook, okay? Now we're gonna go into the magic ring, just go straight in there, okay? And you're going to yarn over again, just like that. You're gonna pull a loop up. So pull that right into the magic ring, just like that. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over again, and you're gonna pull that through the first 2 loops only. So go very slow, take your time, do not worry, you just want to make sure you don't go into like pulling the threads apart. Good, now we've got 2 loops left. We're going to do that one more time. You're going to yarn over and pull that through those last 2 loops that are on your hook, and you have a double crochet. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to grab our best friend here, stitch marker, and you're going to mark up that first stitch. Okay, this is for those who are beginners, just starting out. Okay, go ahead and we're going to yarn over again, and you're going to do a double crochet once more. So let me go ahead and zoom in so you can get a better look. Just like this. You're gonna go into your magic ring. Okay, you're going to yarn over again and pull up that loop, just like that. So we've got our three loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over again, and you're gonna go through those first 2 loops, just like that. Okay, you want to yarn over one more time because we want to get rid of these 2 loops here, and just pull through both loops. And now you've got another double crochet. As you can see, the stitch creates kind of a V shape type of shape on top here, and then the double crochet in the front looks like, I don't know how to describe that, knots. But yes, so you've got 2 double crochets there. Let me do that one more time, but I'm gonna go a little faster, okay? So you're going to yarn over, go into your magic ring, yarn over, and pull up your loop. You yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through the last 2 loops. Okay, so that's a double crochet, and we've got 3 so far, but you want to do that 12 times. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video if you have to, rewind if you want to follow along again, and then I'll see you at the end of this round. So don't forget, we need 12 double crochet. Okay, so I'll see you at the end. Alright, so we've got our 12 double crochet here, which are in our magic ring. It should look a little bit something like this. So it's kind of like a little rainbow. And what we're going to do is that we're going to close the magic ring because we are going to be working in a circle. Now, to close the magic ring, what you're going to do is that you're going to hold on to this shorter end, which is not connected to your ball of yarn. As you can see, this one's connected to my ball of yarn, right? So we're gonna leave that one alone, okay? We're not touching that one yet. So grab the shorter end and just hang on to your stitches here and just pull that string as tight as you can. Just pull, pull, pull all the way until your circle is closed, just like this, okay? Just be careful not to pull too hard because you may be able to snap the string and you don't want that. So now that we've got our magic ring shut, we're going to go ahead and start round 2. So go ahead, round 2. Now for round 2, what we're going to do is that we're going to finish up here. So keep in mind of where that stitch marker is. That's your first stitch. And you're gonna do a slip stitch. To do a slip stitch, you're gonna go into that stitch there, just like that. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So that means pull it through the stitch. And you're gonna go right through that back stitch in the back, just like that, okay? And that closes your circle completely there. Good, so now that we did our slip stitch, we're going to do chain 2. And what that is that you're going to yarn over and you're gonna pull right through and you made a chain. That easy. So do that one more time. So yarn over, 2 chains, okay? All right, so now we're gonna go into that same stitch where you originally did your slip stitch, and we're going to do a double crochet. So go ahead and yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over and pull up your loop. You got your 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Now, the 2 chains here, those do not count as any stitches. They are just to keep it aligned so that way when you're going around it ends up being the same height. So now we are going to mark up this first double crochet because that counts as your first stitch of the round, okay? So if you're following along with the pattern, you can see that we have to do an increase. And that means that we have to do 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So go ahead and yarn over, go into that same exact stitch, yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we've got 2 double crochet in that one stitch, which is a double crochet increase. Okay, so now we're going to do that again. We're going to repeat that 12 times. So into each stitch you do an increase, so in each stitch you do 2 double crochet. So let's go ahead into the next one, and we're going to do a double crochet just like we have been doing. That's 1, and we're going to go in there again. So you yarn over, go into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so we've got 4 double crochets so far. Okay, I hope you're following along. Now we're going to go into this one. We're going to do it one more time, all right? So do a double crochet increase, which is just 2 double crochet in that one stitch. All right, so that's 6 double crochet so far. Okay, so go ahead and continue this round. You can pause the video. Make sure that at the end of this round, you have 24 stitches in total. Okay, 24, so 2 double crochet into each stitch. All right, so go ahead and pause, and I'll see you at the end of the round. All right, here we are at the end of our round, and to finish it up, what we're going to do, that's why I said it's good to mark it up here for the first double crochet, because we are going to do a slip stitch into that first double crochet that you created of the round. So go right in there into that stitch in here. There we go. And we're going to yarn over and do a slip stitch. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna go over to round 3 here. And for round 3, we are going to do 2 chains again. So yarn over and you go right through there. Okay, and we're gonna work into that same stitch again, a double crochet. Just do 1 double crochet into that same stitch, just like that. We're going to grab our stitch marker, and we're going to mark up that first double crochet that we made. Now we're going to move over to the next stitch, and we're going to do an increase. So a double crochet increase, which is what you just did in the last row. So that means 2 double crochet into that one stitch. All right, and we're going to follow that pattern. So you do 1 double crochet and then an increase, 1 double crochet, increase, 1 double crochet, increase, and so on and so forth until you get to the end. You are going to want to make sure that you pay attention, that you don't go into the slip stitch over here at the end, because then you're going to end up making too many stitches. And at the end, you want to have 36 stitches in total for this round. Okay, so again, we're going to do a double crochet, and then we're gonna go into the next stitch and create a double crochet increase. So that means 2 double crochet into the one stitch there, just like that. Okay, so go ahead and repeat that pattern, and I will see you at the end of the round, and I'll show you what we're gonna do next. All right, so we finished our round here. And as you can see, we're back to the beginning of our round here, and we're going to do a slip stitch into that first double crochet, which is what we did for the last 2 rounds. So go right into that double crochet like so. You're going to yarn over, pull through, and go through the loop that's on your hook as well. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is that we are going to fasten off our yarn for this spot. To fasten off, it means that you need to grab your scissors, and we are going to, I'm gonna extend this piece here first, just in case. And we're going to cut our yarn. Just make sure that it's, you know, a good length, a good maybe 6 to 8 inches or so, just like that. And then you're going to grab that loop that you have, and you're just gonna pull it through, right through there, okay? What I want you to do though, is that I want you to mark up where you did that slip stitch there, because we're gonna go back into that stitch with our new color. But before we attach our new color, what I would like to do is that I would like to weave in my ends before we continue, because it kind of, I mean, it really doesn't matter to be honest, but I want to show you what I like to do, which is considered like an invisible stitch. So what I do is that I am going to use my darning needle. I went ahead and threaded my yarn, the end that I had cut, into the darning needle there. And what we're going to do is that we're going to go into this stitch here, which is the next stitch from where you did your slip stitch. So go right through the front and go through both loops there. And you're gonna cinch it like that. Just pull it through. And then you're gonna go into the slip stitch, or like the last stitch you made, which is your slip stitch. And instead of going through both loops here, we're gonna go through the back loop only. So let me zoom in here a little bit so you can see better. So this is the stitch that we made, and it has two loops here. As you can see, it has the front loop in the front, and then it has our back loop in the back. And we're gonna go into the back loop only, from the front to the back, okay? Just like that. And now that creates our stitch. That's our new stitch that we have made. So you want to go ahead and mark up that false stitch that we just made. Okay, as you can see, you can't tell the difference, which is perfect. So now you can weave in your ends. If you don't want to at this point, that is completely fine. Go ahead and move forward of the video, but if you do, let me show you really quick how to weave in your ends. Now let's say we have this end here, and we're gonna go through the stitches, but make sure that you stay as shallow as you can, and you wanna go in the back of your piece, not the front. And it's literally this easy. You just go through the back stitches in there, and you could even go through the threads to kind of solidify that your yarn won't come undone. That's what I like to do, and it seems to have worked for me for my past projects. And that's it. You're just gonna weave your yarn just in and out through the threads, through the stitches, and again, do shallow. You don't want to go all the way, because then you will see it in the front. But as you can see, you can't see anything in the front. You just see it. You can barely see it in the back too, because it's the same color, but you can kind of tell if you really look at it. But yeah, so just keep doing that. And then we're gonna do the center piece, so that way you can see why I said that it was important to do a long length. And once you weaved in your piece as far as you can, you wanna go ahead and snip off the X's as close as you can to the project. Just be careful not to cut the project. Just like that, and then that's it. That's how you weave in your end. Now let me show you really quick about this center piece. As you can see, your magic ring is closed, right? But as time goes on, the magic ring could open up if you are not careful about weaving in your piece here. Now, what I like to do to make sure that the magic ring stays closed and is nice and tight in there, I just like to go around the center here. You don't want to go around too many times, because then it creates a little bump in the front, and you don't want that. You want your coaster to sit down and flat. So you just go around just like this, and you just tighten it as you go on. I like to go around once or twice, but that's it. After that second time, you don't want to go around again, because like I said, it will create a bump. So after you go around, like I said, once, twice, you're gonna go out of that center, and you're gonna go like here, for example. It doesn't really matter where you go. You're just gonna get out of that center spot, and you're just gonna do what you did with the other one, and just go in and out with those shallow stitches. Make sure you're not going to the front of your piece, so that way you can't see it. Okay, so once it's done and you're satisfied with how much you've weaved in your piece, you just snip off the excess, and then you can move on. So as you can see, you can kind of tell where you weaved in the piece, right? But again, this is the back of your piece, so it is completely fine, because the front is the part that matters the best. But as you can see, it does lay flat. because I did not go into the center section too many times, okay? So now go ahead and grab your new color. With our new color, we're gonna go into that false stitch that we created. So put your hook right in there, grab your new color, and you're literally just gonna put it onto your hook like this, and just pull it through the stitch, just like that. Just like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we are in round 4, so actually let me put that round counter up there, round 4. We're going to chain 3. So instead of 2, we do 3, so that's a 1. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through, and 3. Okay, so that 3 chain actually counts as a stitch. So what you're going to do is that you are going to mark up that that top of the chain 3. So the 3rd chain is what you're marking up, because this is going to be technically counted as a double crochet. Perfect. So now that we have our 3 chains there, we are going to chain 1 more. Okay, so chain 1. And now what we're going to do is that we are going to skip the next 2 stitches. So you skip this one and the 2nd one, and you go into the 3rd one. What you're going to do in that 3rd one is that we're going to do a double crochet. So you yarn over, go into that stitch, yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, then you yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so that chain 1 creates a space, which is what you want. Now we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. Struggled a little there. And we're gonna go back into that same stitch where the first double crochet you made. You're going to yarn over, go into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And now as you can see, you've got a little V shape, which is called a V stitch. So when you have 2 double crochets with a little space in between. So that's your V stitch. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 like that. And we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So skip 1, skip 2, and go into the 3rd one. In that 3rd one, we're doing that same V stitch again. So you're going to yarn over and do a double crochet into that 3rd stitch. And then we're going to chain 2. I almost forgot. And then you're going to yarn over and do a double crochet into that same exact stitch that you're at. Okay, so now you got yourself another V stitch in there. Okay, let's do that again. So chain 1. You're going to skip 2 stitches and go into the 3rd one. You yarn over, do a double crochet into that 3rd stitch. Oh boy, hang on. Let me redo that. Don't worry if that happens. It happens to anyone. The threads can come undone for some reason. And then you're going to chain 2. And then you double crochet again into that same stitch. Okay, we're not moving from anywhere. We want to create that V stitch, so you want to stay in that same stitch after you create those 2 chains. Okay, there you go, perfect. So go ahead and follow that same pattern of chaining 1 after your V stitch, and then you're going to skip 2, and then create your V stitch in the 3rd one. Make sure you do your chains to do the space, and then do the 1 chain at the end before moving on to your skip 2 again. Okay, if it doesn't make sense, don't worry, check out the pattern, follow the pattern. If you don't have it, again, it's in the description box down below, or you can just rewind this video and follow along with how I did it. Okay, if not, that is completely fine, and I will see you at the end of this round. Make sure that you have 11 V stitches in total. I will show you how to do the 12th V stitch in here at the end. Okay, all right, so we made it to the end of our round here, and as I said, you should have 11 V stitches here in total. As you can see, it looks like you have 3 stitches left, but do not worry, we're going to ignore this 1 stitch here, and we're going to go straight into the stitch where that first double crochet is. And what you're going to do after you did your chain 1 after the V-stitch is that you're going to yarn over and you're going to do a double crochet right into that stitch where the where you started your chain start up here. Okay, so go right into that stitch and just create a regular double crochet just like that. And then you're going to do 2 chains, so chain 2, and then you're gonna go into the top of the chain 3 that you made. That's why I said to mark it up. So go ahead and remove your stitch marker. Keep an eye on where that is because you want to make sure you don't lose it. You're gonna go right into that chain. Make sure you have the 2 loops on top, and then in the bottom you're gonna have that back loop. So let me zoom in so you can see better. So the front is the 2 loops, right? And then in the back you have that 1 bar loop that is created when you make a chain. Okay, and now we're going to do a slip stitch right in there. It's a little difficult, but you can do it. You go right in there just like so and just create a slip stitch just like that. Okay, and that's it. You've got your leaves part of the flowers. So now we have our 12 leaves, and now we can fasten off just like we did with the white part. So go ahead and grab your scissors and you're going to fasten off, like I said, 6 to 8 inches or so. And then you just pull this off just like that. And don't you worry about pulling it, it won't come undone because we did that slip stitch at the end of the round. So that is completely fine. Now go ahead and weave in that end so that way it's out of the way. And then come back and we're going to add the new color. Alright, as you can see, we've got our new color here, which I am going to be using the red color. And the reason I chose this color is because, you know, Christmas vibes. So we've got our white, green, and our red color. What we're going to do is that we are going to choose whichever V-stitch you want. So go smack in the middle of each V-stitch space and just go right in there. Honestly, it doesn't matter which one you go into. They're all the same. And you're gonna go and grab your red yarn just like we did with the green and just slip it right in there. One thing that I did not bring up to your attention, when you're switching your colors, you want to make sure that you leave yourself again another 6 to 8 inches of this. If you don't need to make it that long, but make it long enough so that way you can weave it in at the end, okay? So go ahead and switch your color up in there, and we are going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And that chain 3 does count as a double crochet, so make sure that you mark up that stitch there so that way you are aware of it when you come back to it. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to create the flower, and the flower is made by creating a 5 double crochet popcorn stitch. Now, and I know it's a mouthful, but it's really not that difficult, I promise. This is still a very beginner friendly pattern, so let's go ahead and stop talking. What we're going to do, we have 1 double crochet there now, okay? We're going to do 4 more double crochet. So you're going to yarn over and go into that same V-stitch right in the center there and just do your double crochet. So create 4 double crochets into this 1 V-stitch. So that's my 3rd. Okay, there we go. So as I said, your chain 3, it does count as a double crochet. So that means that we have 5 double crochet in this V-stitch here. What we're going to do, this is the most difficult one in my opinion. So extend your loop a little bit, okay? Because you don't want to lose that. We're gonna go into this top of the chain 3. So remove that stitch. Go into that top of the chain 3 just like that, okay? So I'm going to zoom in so you can see better. As you can see, it's in the chain. I did the same thing where the back bar is in the back, okay? And the 2 loops in the front are on top of your hook. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to grab this loop again and put it onto our hook, just like that, and just tighten it so it doesn't come undone. And you're gonna tighten, 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 just like that. And what we're going to do is that we're just going to bring this loop back into the stitch where you're going through. So, and while you're doing that, you're gonna keep your finger here to shape up the flower. I know it's a lot, don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. So go ahead and bring it right in there, just like that. Very easy, okay? So you've created your first flower. These are called tulips. I have actually shown this pattern before for the tulips. If you've never seen it before, you can go ahead and check it out in the card there. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That first one kind of just holds it together in that shape, and then the rest are just to make sure that you have enough to get to the next one. Now what we're going to do is that we are going to do 5 double crochet into the next V-stitch. Okay, so we're going to skip this space here and go into the next space, which is the space of your V-stitch. Okay, and you're going to do 5 double crochet. Okay, so we've got our 5 double crochet, so it kind of looks like a little fan, right? This is going to be a lot easier now since it's just a regular double crochet that we have at the beginning here. We're gonna do what we did and extend that loop so that way it doesn't get lost. And we're gonna count back into our first double crochet. So this is the 5th one, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, first double crochet here. Okay, and now what we're going to do is grab that loop there onto your hook and tighten it up so it doesn't get loose. You're gonna bring that loop into that double crochet where you're at. So just bring it right in there, but make sure you have your finger back here to shape up the flower. So just push a little bit to give it that 3-dimensional look. Okay, so go ahead and chain 3, 2, 3, and now you're ready to create another flower. So let's go ahead and do another 5 double crochet into the next V-stitch space. Perfect. So we've got our little fan of 5 double crochet, and now we want to shape it into our 3-dimensional tulip here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to extend that loop, and we're gonna go back to the first double crochet here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go at the top of the stitch there. You're gonna grab that loop that you had extended and you're going to tighten it, just like that, okay? And then we're gonna go back into that stitch while holding in the back, don't forget, so that way you can shape up that flower. There you go, and you got yourself a popcorn stitch. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now you can continue. Perfect. So go ahead and continue the round of doing the popcorn stitch, and after your popcorn stitch you do chain 3, and make sure that you go into the V-stitch space, not the skip space. Okay, so the V-stitch space where you have the little leaves that are going like this, and between the leaves is where you want to create your flower. You want to have 12 flowers in total, okay? So after your 12 flowers, come back. So make sure you pause the video and come back after you do your 12 flowers so I can show you how you can end it and fasten off this cute flower tulip coaster. Nice, so we're at the end of our round here. As you've probably noticed, while you made your flowers, this started to curl up, and that is completely fine because once you set it all down and put the cup down, it sets flat, just like you can see now. So let me show you really quick how we're going to finish off this coaster here. After you do your 3 chains, we're gonna go to this first flower that we created, and we're going to the back here, and we're gonna go into where, like, basically where the chain 3 is. As you can see, this is your chain 3 section here that which is considered your first double crochet. We're gonna go into that, like, just put your hook between the chain and the rest of the flower, and we're just going to grab our working yarn, and you're going to do a slip stitch. So you just slip it right in there, just like that, so that way it connects in the back just like the rest of your flowers. Okay, you want it to be in uniform. Now we can go ahead and fasten off our yarn. Once again, you want to give yourself a good 6 to 8 inches, so that way, you know, you can weave in that end and you're not struggling with it. So again, just pull the loop after you snip off the end. You just pull this up just like this. You just pull it, pull all the way through. And again, don't you worry, it won't come undone because you did do that slip stitch. So go ahead and weave in your ends, and then I will show you how to create the little bucket or the pot of the flower, so that way you can put all your crochet coasters in there. And there you have it. Now you know how to create this flower tulip coaster, and as promised, I am going to show you how to create the flower pot, which holds the rest of your coasters and creates that bouquet design. So go ahead, the video is right there for you. And if you decide not to go there, that is completely fine. I will see you in the next one, and thank you as always for coming by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comment section down below. And if not, then, as I said, I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.